And now we're seeing the same thing with education, as critical race theory is pushed on school districts across the country. Simply put, critical race theory reinforces divisions on strict racial lines. It doesn't teach kids moral values like treating everyone with respect, regardless of race. It's just the opposite. Critical race theory teaches kids to hate one another. That's one thing schools should absolutely not be teaching. But again, for Democrats, it's about changing the way we view our country. What we should be focusing on is actually improving education all over this country. The American people need to realize how far we've fallen behind. As the columnist Mark Stein wrote, quote, "Education is the biggest structural defect in our society. We have almost entirely corrupt and abusive education establishment." Here's where that education establishment has got us. We're 37th in the world in math, 13th in reading, 18th in science. In 2019, only 35% of our fourth graders, 35% of our fourth graders were able to read at the fourth grade reading level. 35%, embarrassing. That was lower than 2 years before. And it was before the teachers' unions kept kids out of school all of this past year. You can imagine how it is today. It is unacceptable. It should be unacceptable to every member of this body. We've got China outpacing us in every industry and at every level of our economy, but Democrats are too busy painting the United States as the world's villain. How can we expect our young people to defend the United States abroad if they don't learn about the things that make America the greatest country in the history of the world? We, as elected representatives of Americans across the country, should be doing everything, and I mean everything, we can to create opportunity and to protect the freedoms that make this country great. It seems like folks across the aisle are interested in that. They have a completely different vision of and for our country, one that most Americans don't agree with at all. I bet if you ask folks back home if they want a bigger government and less state and local power, they'd say, no way. I bet if you ask them if a federal power grab sounds like a good idea, they would say no. I bet if you ask them if they want their kids to learn to be more divided by race, they would also say no. They would tell you that they want their freedoms protected. They would tell you that they want the federal government out of the way. They want an education for children that provides opportunity, because education is the key to freedom and success. Education can unlock every student's God-given potential. But critical race theory swallows that key. The Pelosi power grab just fills the lock with cement. Ladies and gentlemen, For the People Act is one party's attempt to rewrite the rules of the game in hope that they'll get a permanent advantage, plain and simple. It's really a shame. We're spending so much time on bills that the American people don't want, bills that don't have bipartisan support. So I urge my colleagues to come together and find solutions that will unite us as Americans, not divide us further as a country. Thank you, Madam President.